I find so disgusting, disgraceful about these Afrikaners being refugees to America is that not a lot of people actually understand, and especially with all of the wars and everything going on now, okay? America declined refugees, actual refugees that are going through war-stricken situations going on in Palestine. Look at what's happening in the Congo as well, okay? They were declined. They were declined from being refugees, even to the point where the Episcopal, I think that's how you pronounce it, church said, no, I'm sorry, but this is absolutely, for a church to say that, do you realize for a church to say that, how wrong you must be? Like, these people, these Afrikaners, literally packed up all of their. Did you see how much luggage they had? Did you? They literally packed up like half of their clothes in their cupboards, and they drove in peace to the airport, and they sat comfortably on a plane on their way to America. Do you actually know what it means to be a refugee, right? To be a refugee is literally to flee your country with the clothes that you literally have on your back. Like, I have no words. I have no words. And then you have other white South Africans in comments saying that, oh, we are really being discriminated. We're being hunted. We are being. Bitch, I am a white South African, okay? I am 34 years old. 34 years old. I have never, ever been discriminated against in my country. Also, the 4 murders is a bunch of bullshit. Because, first of all, we have a crime problem, not a systematic racism problem. Like, oh my word, it makes me so angry. So angry. Mariki was most probably like packing her luggage, and she's like, Jan Hendrik, onthou asseblief om my iPhone charger in te pak. Ons moet net seker maak ons neem fotootjies daarso sodat ons dit vir Tannie Mariki kan stuur. Like, if you are truly a refugee, right, you are fleeing for safety, the only thing that you are worried about and the only thing that you care about is getting yourself and your family to safety. They were not fleeing anything. They were not fleeing anything. It's because they are not happy with equality. Because they grew up with fucking privilege. Like, there is no genocide of white people going on in South Africa. All right? These people make me sick.
Oh, laughter is the best medicine. That's all you can do is to laugh. This sake of the Amerikaner, white Afrikaner refugee. Yeah, I think these people are actually being used. And it's very clear none of them are actually farmers. All of you. And we're going to listen to another reaction from Errol Langton. Errol Langton made a lot of stories that he fudged up, but let's get his stepdaughter to explain to you all.
What do they need protection from exactly? These people, they're not even Afrikaners. They're not even Afrikaners. So yeah, here's a picture from 2015, like from their wedding of them and me. Like, I'm right there. That is me.
I am of Afrikaner descent. My family made a decision a long time ago to not speak Afrikaans and switch over to English because that's the medium that was seen as most effective to get around and get things done.
But he doesn't speak Afrikaans. Stepdaughter just told you that he's not an Afrikaner and he doesn't speak Afrikaans. Here's the thing, Afrikaner identity isn't a vibe you just pick up. It's not like a vibe you pick up. It's like we're going back to that story of the former Miss South Africa contestant, Adichina Chidima, who claimed to be Zulu and then was caught up red-handed. In that case, revealed a lot more about her heritage and that her mother got into South Africa illegally and allegedly stole someone else's identity to give it to her, and it became, and now her mother just a few days ago went to court about her, her case as a result of competing to Miss South Africa when Chidima claimed to be a Zulu, of someone of a Zulu heritage. All right. This is as equivalent as that. And someone tells the world that he's an Afrikaner with the last name Langton. Langton, Zanzi people, what we're looking for if you're an African and a male, not even a female, I would say, or maybe married a man by the name of Langton from Yorkshire in British, No, 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 no. Langton literally means long farmstead. It's a last name. You would find it in Yorkshire, in British, in Yorkshire, but not from the Dutch Cape. No, 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 no. They were looking up a last name, German, kind of Dutch or French influence. Duplessis, Van der Merwe, De Beer, Van Beek. No, you are not an Afrikaner. Afrikaner, you definitely not an Afrikaner. And your daughter just said that. And I don't believe you are because of just what I've just said now. You couldn't be. You cannot. And another thing that's very important, and you have to understand this, because Afrikaner is not just a vibe, because it's rooted in the language. It's rooted in history. And also rooted in shared struggle. From the Great Trek to apartheid and beyond. All right? Okay. I told you the Great Trek, and I told you why we're saying these people are footseekers, created the Great Zack. The Great Trek started in 1835, okay, when Afrikaner, the Dutch settler, did not want the British colonial rule. Okay, they were all fighting for South Africa, the British Empire and the Dutch settlers. All right, and they moved from the British colonial control areas to form what they call the White Republics inland South Africa, into areas like Free State, Natal, and Transvaal area. That's where they moved inland. And there were a couple of wars. The first Anglo-Boer War, which is the British, and the Afrikaner. And the second one, that one actually was more tragic because it resulted in a lot of death from the people, women and children from the Afrikaner community. Right, that is the history. And as a result of this history, there has been a lot of animosity between the white English-speaking South African and the Afrikaner-speaking white South African to today, 2025. All right? So when this man tells you and tells the world that he was an Afrikaner with a very shared history of that trauma of Anglo-Boer War II, that his family decided to they're not going to take Afrikaans anymore in an apartheid South Africa whereby Afrikaans was enforced. And they will somehow switch to English. And then he doesn't even speak a single word in Afrikaans. It's a lie. It's a liar, similar as when Chidima said was a Zulu woman.
Errol, you can't self-ID into Afrikanerdom like it's a marketing strategy. It's not a costume. It's not an ethnic costume you wear when you need a visa. Afrikaner when you're applying for visa status. English when pressed about the culture, Afrikaner culture. That's why a lot of scammers getting caught in South Africa because of this. You couldn't. It is a reason why we're able to catch your lies, because of the structural apartheid era that still exists today. That's the reason why this lie was the reason why you were caught up was because you said you are an Afrikaner with a Langton last name, and you are male. And then, you know, South Africans, like they do, they had to dig Afrikaner by Langton, and you can't even speak Afrikaans. And they spoke to stepdaughter, and stepdaughter came out and said, no, you're lying. You are English. You're not Afrikaner. You are not Afrikaner. That's your stepdaughter saying that about you. And we found even more lies about you. So we're going to listen to him speak again, and I'll tell you guys what lies we found about this clip. All right, let's listen.
Agricultural school I went to. So yes, I did farming. I owned a farm, or at least leased a farm for more than 3 years. I was harassed and threatened, my life threatened on that very farm. Yes, I have been attacked. The very person that's made the false statement against me will be able to confirm that I was attacked in our very home when she was a young child, when I got stabbed in my chest 15 times. So tell me I don't qualify for this program.
I'm sorry to hear that you were stabbed 15 times, but I couldn't find any police records. We couldn't find any police records of your claim. We also couldn't see any records of you attending any agricultural school in South Africa. No. We also couldn't find any leasing agreement of any farm for you. Leasing or purchasing of any farm. For commercial farming, it's anyone with commercial farming must actually register the farm. There's no registration for you. And there's also no title deeds transfer. And also no leasing if you've leased the farm from somebody else, or somebody else has leased the farm to you. There's nothing of that. Again, also, if any of you had farms, you know, Expropriation Act that was passed by Ramaphosa, it was signed by Ramaphosa into a law earlier this year. That means that farm would be available for expropriation. But no, there's no farm that is actually been identified. Those are the facts. It's just your claim. You're not an Afrikaner. You're somebody from English background, definitely around Yorkshire. That last name is Langton. Long Farmstead, that's where it's a British last name. And you speak no Afrikaans. And your stepdaughter said you are not an Afrikaner. Your stepdaughter said you've never had any incident like that. And the police cannot find any records of that incident in South Africa. So, you may want to review what Bianca said.
It's just getting worse and worse. Okay, so I want to put it out there. I've seen a lot of comments when I address this offer of refugee status for white South Africans in the US, that there are a lot of people that say, just leave them. They're not wanted in South Africa, and now they're going to go for an opportunity there in the US, and just leave the people alone. The people must leave South Africa alone. Okay, so if you are going to go and take up this US refugee status because of your so-called persecution in South Africa, don't go there and badmouth South Africa and think there isn't going to be a response. So for instance, we have got Errol Langton. 9 people of the 49 is Errol Langton and his family. And he goes and speaks to the New York Times and thinks no one's going to check the information. Well, we know the New York Times didn't, but we're in South Africa. If you're going to badmouth the country, we're going to check. So an Afrikaner farming family trades South Africa for Alabama. So in the interview, Errol tells the New York Times that he has been threatened back home because he was a white guy and a farmer, and that his business had suffered financially because of the hatred directed at Afrikaners. He goes on to tell them that he grew spinach, mustard, Swiss chard, and sweet potatoes, possibly in his backyard. Now he said he would most likely work an IT job in Birmingham. How odd, a farmer that's going to now just work a IT job in Birmingham. But eventually he hopes to purchase a plot of land where his family can farm with chickens and perhaps run a commercial operation. Mr. Langton, you should stick to your knitting, because you ran an IT company that was registered from 2008 in South Africa. You have never farmed. Why are you blatantly lying? In fact, here is the background of your company. Errol Langton joined as the first technician the company employed, being very much family-orientated, dexterous, continued to include all members, I assume, of the Langton family. And the reason why I can't see is because the web page has been discontinued. So the next time one of the so-called South African refugees decide to actually speak to the media on that side and make false statements about their persecution as farmers when they've never been farmers, please note, South Africa will respond. Yeah, it's just getting worse and worse.
Okay, so how IQ helps us grow. We've been business partners now for 10 years, and we've been platinum for most of that time. And our history with the IQ team and the experiences we have had with them, we're very much kind of engaged, and they help us grow. They give us some insights as to what's happening in the market. There's this constant feed around leads that are coming through in our area. And whenever there's an issue that comes up, we don't just get bulldozed out of the way. We get helped. There's a meaningful engagement whenever the problem does come up, good or bad. Experience has just been exceptional, and I'm happy to be part of the IQ family.
If you continue to speak this gag about South Africa, that means we will continue to look into your records. And some of you have huge anti-Semitism records on file, some that are, I think if I were to talk about them here, YouTube will actually block my video. So I don't want to do that. But you know, that's what you do when you're footsecker, all right? Just keep quiet. Don't talk about South Africa, because every time, like Bianca said, if you come out and speak bad about South Africa, we'll have to make sure the investigators, they go out there and investigate your claim. And we will counteract your propaganda with facts. We are not going to replace the truth with your propaganda of being persecuted, because there aren't any records of you being a victim. And what we have so far is people who are fleeing from accountability. People who are fleeing from equality. There aren't any records. So, and the next clip, it's about, yes, parody. Oh, this one is classic. If you don't know Afrikaans, sorry, I'm sorry about that, but I'll try my best to make sure that at least there is a translation, Google translation, and what is about to be said here. But South Africans, oh yeah, I'm loving these parodies that you guys are coming out with it. Oh, they're so beautiful. Love them. But I got another one to play for you. All right, thank you guys. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Until next time, so please wait for the parody. Please wait for it. It's coming.
Hello, sir. Welcome to America. Wag 'n bietjie. Julle praat net Engels in Amerika. What? Do you have someone wie weet om Afrikaans te praat hier? A translator for us? No, sir, we do not. Marilei weet om Engels te praat. Marilei se Engels is so kaks. Sy kan niks verstaan. Sir, can we please continue? We do not have time, sir. Okay, I'm gonna try to speak some English. Thank you so much, sir. Now that you've landed here in the United States of America, there's some ground rules I have to apply. What the hell is that? Okay, I'm gonna make it very simple. Can you guys give us a piece of land? And then what we're going to do is we're going to name that land Orania Part 2. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna build our own little country there where it's just us Afrikaners. Is that okay with you? I cannot assign land at this point, sir. That is something that we're currently... Ek hoor niks, Marietjie. Hierdie mens praat net Engels. Jy het gesê, hier in Amerika gaan ons nie land in... Fuck, man. What about rugby? What, sir? Because I have a kid here. He was in a school, law school, and I will rugby school. Speel julle rugby in Amerika? I do not understand, sir. We play football. Hulle het nie rugby nie, Marietjie. Ek het jou gesê ons moet in Suid-Afrika bly. Ag nee my lief, moenie huil nie. Nee liefie, kom nou liefie. Ek wil terug huis toe gaan, Marietjie, want ek kan niks verstaan hier, man. Okay. Can I please speak to the manager of the country of what Donald Duck? Can I speak what's daai persoon se naam weer? Liefie, dis Donald Trump. Dis Donald Trump, liefie. Donald Trump. Can I speak to Donald Trump asseblief? Ek het 'n baie belangrike vraag vir julle. A very, very big question. Is the whites more than the blacks in the country? Yes, sir. Mooi so. Hou aan. Nee, my lief, ek kan nie sulke vrae. Nee, dis die waarheid, Marietjie. Want if luister hier, my seun. As julle hierdie land vir die swart mense gee, dit gaan nie kak wees, hoor. Dan is julle in groot moeilikheid. Liefie, hou op, man. Marietjie, dis die waarheid. Okay, this is my last vraag, hoor. Just listen very closely here. As my last question. Ek smoor kan hom asseblief praat terwyl ek praat, man. I heard that here's the black people, I can call them kaffer, and then they don't understand. Jakkie, nee! Marietjie, kan ek net 'n vraag vra asseblief, man? Jakkie, jy kan nie... Ek moes jou gat in Suid-Afrika gelos het.